Righty, morning. It's a bit of a sad morning today. So if you didn't realise, and I'll fucking post this one, so Gene Winfield, if you're not sure who he is, go look him up. But he's probably one of the OG car builders for forever, since the end of the war, pretty much. When I mean the war, like World War II. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. He passed away, as far as I know, today, which would be yesterday, American time, but today, just like we're a day ahead, a date. So yeah. So I've known that Gene hasn't been very good for a while, but I didn't realise how bad. I know that he put a so Ian, is it Russell, whatever it is, that's that Full Custom Garage, and he's got a YouTube channel now. I think he's dropped the Full Custom Garage thing. I don't think he's doing that anymore. But he wasn't tied in with the motor trend stuff. I think he just sort of had enough. He's been doing YouTube for quite a while, a year or so, and doing really well, which is cool. But he's been a really, really good friend of Gene's for obviously a long time. And up until reasonably recently, they lived really close to Gene when he was out in Mojave Desert. Unfortunately, I'm not exactly sure when this happened, but he ended up with a caregiver that unfortunately he signed. He got sort of swindled, poor old Gene did, from what I understand. He ended up with a caregiver that managed to get the rights to hit all his stuff. I'm not sure what happened there, like I don't know the details, but anyway, she basically just sold everything out from underneath him and fucking took all his money and then run, from what I understand. I don't know the full logistics of it, but that's just from what I understand, because I know that a lot of people in recent times, like in probably the last year or so, have been doing a lot of fundraising for poor old Gene to just keep him with medical help and whatever, because I think she beat the crap out of him too. I'm not 100% sure on the full details. I don't live in the US and I don't know the full connections or whatever, but yeah, he's had a pretty rough ride the last wee while, the poor old fella. So yeah, he was 97. Hell of a guy. Yeah, I didn't realise he was actually quite so crook. I knew that he wasn't good, but so I knew his health had been sort of, probably up in the last couple of years, he'd actually been reasonably good. Still getting out and about. I think he might have been even at one of the one of the shows recently. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think, you know what I mean? But yeah, he obviously, so yeah, like Ian's post, or Ian and his partner, I can't think what her name is at the moment, doesn't matter, but they've got a Facebook page, and yeah, I don't know, within the last 20 minutes they've posted this up, so obviously it's legit. I quite respect those two. They've helped him out a shitload, and I remember in the early days of some of the Ian's videos, they actually went down to Gene's shop, and did a little bits and pieces with him and whatever. Like, you can see that he was, he's getting old. Like shit, 97's pretty fucking good innings. But it's just, it's a shame to see him not hitting 100, and still working on cars. Like, a couple of 3 years ago, you thought he bloody would have, but it's amazing how quick the old tides can turn. I know 2 or 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, he was medical out in Bonneville, which would have been bloody awesome, because he did a wee bit of that like way back, and then he sort of got busy with all the customising and stuff like that. I don't think he might have went back the odd time to do a run, but he always kept his I think it's a 30s Ford, basically salt runner. But they must have, I don't know whether it was the original one that he built way back in the day or not, you know what I mean? But it's been around a long time. Like I've been following Gene sort of, off and on for probably, I don't know, way back in the 90s at least anyway. When I was at high school, buying car magazines back in the late 80s is when I sort of started buying my own magazines. With the pocket money, when I was going to school and whatever. I was collecting the street machine magazines here from Australia. And there was always little articles in there about Gene and what he was doing, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, sort of stuff. You know what I mean? And I knew, like, just from videos and bits and pieces, he did built stuff for Star Trek and Back to the Future movies and just all sorts of stuff over the years, and even way before that, and some of the wicked crazy custom stuff that he built all through the 50s and 60s and 70s, just a hell of a guy, and it's a shame to, unfortunately, the time gets all of us, eventually, you know what I mean, but crazy to see that he's now gone. He was one of the troopers, he was freaking there to the bitter end, doing cars. I can remember, it's a real shame. I'm so pissed off that COVID come along, because I actually could have got the chance to meet him, because I know Arco at Outlaw Edge was reasonable friends with him, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that he's got ties back to him, back in the 90s sort of type stuff, because Arco's a little bit older than me, a couple of years older. So yeah, he's got quite good ties back into the 90s, and maybe even earlier than that. Because I know he's got he must have bought one of Gene's. I don't know. It must have been. I don't know. Was it a big auction way back in the day? And he bought a real rough Merc off Gene. He must have been at a like a swap meet or something like that. And Gene had a whole pair of stuff there, and he had this real rough Merc, and I think he got the whole car or the dashboard or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It might have been the whole car, I think. I'm not. Don't quote me on that. Arco would better tell you. But yeah, I know Arco's still got that dashboard on his wall in his shop. So yeah, I don't think he'll part with that anytime shortly. And I know Arco, back when I first started talking to him, back in, I don't know, was it 2018, whatever it was, when I first started talking to some of these guys in the US a bit more, when I was in the earliest days of my YouTube channel. I've been doing it a couple of years by that stage, but I sort of hadn't really got into the groove of it, if you know what I mean. It was sort of like more of a part-timey sort of thing, and it's kind of still that, but you know what I mean. I've sort of had it pretty hard in the last sort of 5-6 years, I guess. But yeah, Arco was at that point was hoping to, if we could have got over there before all this crap happened, fucking 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, and I was going to move to the US and help him build Rogue. He was hoping to actually get Gene in do a metal shaping course, just, you know what I mean, and that was sort of in the process, but it just, the way that everything went and the economies went, and you just didn't know whether you could come or go and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I never made it to the US, so it's a real bummer. I would have loved to have met him, just to pick that knowledge for, you know, for a day or two, you know what I mean, like doing one of his courses. And I've heard, you know, multiple guys say, like even in recent years they've done his courses, like he'd be there for 16 hours a day showing metal shaping stuff, you know, just endlessly, you know, at freaking 92, 93 years of age, 94 years of age. Just was an absolute trooper. You know, probably had more energy than a lot of people, you know, my age. I know I struggle, you know, once I've got to pass about 40 or 50 hours a week. Yeah, my freaking, I don't know, I just, the way my health is, no, not that it's bad, but, you know, if I could get it better, I would, you know what I mean? I'm buggered by that stage. I don't know, just my body doesn't cope with it anymore. You know, I'm trying to correct that, but it is what it is. But yeah, for him to be doing that sort of stuff, you know, right up until recently, whenever he ended up losing everything because of that fucking stupid woman. I'd like to say other things, but yeah, it's a real shame to see him go like the sort of the way he did and not still have his stuff, and for it to not be sort of held in a, you know, some sort of regard, if you know what I mean, like keep his sort of shop going as a museum, I guess, you know what I mean. I'm not entirely sure exactly what all happened there, but it's a real shame that it's all got, you know, penny pinched off, if you know what I mean. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's crazy. It's really sad. Unfortunately, you know, it happens to all of us. Time gets us all, but it's a shame to see Gene go out the way he did. With, you know, not so much the health, but just the other circumstances that have led up to it, you know what I mean? It probably hasn't helped it. Probably if those things hadn't happened, his health probably wouldn't have deteriorated like it did, I would imagine, you know what I mean? You know, the stresses of all that stuff, and, you know, him being abused like he had been, you know, from what I gather. Yeah, probably was the final nails in the coffin, if you know, as a pun would put it, you know what I mean? But yeah, absolute legend of a guy. If you don't know who he is, go research it. The shit that he built over the last, I would say, I don't know, 70, probably fucking almost 80 years is phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. Like, he was building cars right up until recently. I know that for a fact. You know, when that finished, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's absolutely crazy the stuff that he built and was building all the time. So I'm sure there's going to be a huge outpouring for poor old Gene over the next few days, weeks, whatever. Huge loss to the system, you know, like just absolute amazing legend in car builder. It's a real shame, but anyway, I think we'll leave it there, and we'll get this posted up. But yeah, poor old fella, hope you rest easy, mate.